Greetings from Kyiv, Ukraine. My name is Julia, owner of jctravel Ukraine, and I welcome you on our YouTube channel. Today, we will have a different format of a video. We'd like to give you an insight into the life and tourism in Ukraine through the eyes of a local foreigner, since this is always a different perspective. And today, we will have an interesting conversation with an American who now lives in Ukraine and have traveled a lot around the country. And our today's guest is Peter Santenello, a world traveler, public figure, open-minded person, and video maker who makes videos about the world that media fails to capture. I'm sure that Peter's name sounds familiar to many of you, and maybe you have seen his experience in Ukraine that he had 3 or 4 years ago on riding a platzkart, which is the third class on a train to one Ukrainian village. There were a few episodes and they just blew up the internet. So I recommend to watch them all, and in the comments I will leave the links so you could enjoy them. Peter has contrarian thinking, extroverted sensing, strengths of curiosity, and that is why it is especially interesting to talk to him about Ukraine. Okay, just before we start our conversation, I would like to know that we are talking about tourism in Ukraine, which is like outside politics, corruption, and everything. Because so you are a real traveler and you can share a lot of your thoughts on Ukraine. The questions that I would like to ask you, I hope your answers will help other people understand Ukraine better, and also I hope that it will inspire them to go one day here. Okay. Cool. So, for the first time, you came to Ukraine in 2016.
I moved here at the end of 2016.
You moved to Ukraine.
But I had been here before. I'd actually been here in like 2002 in Crimea.
In Crimea, so that was your first visit.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, why Ukraine? What attracted you in Ukraine that time, and then why you moved? Just,
So the short answer is, I visited a friend who was living here the summer of 2016. I was in Italy, and he said, "Come on over to Kyiv," and so I came here, and it was not long after the revolution. A year and a half, 2 years. And there was just like this Renaissance feeling in the air. You could feel it here in the summer. There was music on the streets, fresh paints going on buildings with murals, new restaurants, new cafes. It just had this like really cool, free, open energy to it. The interesting thing was I told him to move here because he was looking to build a development team, a software development team, and he wanted to go to Russia. We were in San Francisco at the time, and I said, why don't you go to Ukraine? It's more user-friendly. There's great developers there. As an American, you can come in and out easily. And he actually did make the move here. So I visited him, and when I was on the plane home back to San Francisco, he said, you told me to move here. Why don't you move here? You can work from anywhere, because I work from my computer. I don't have to be in San Francisco. And when I landed that flight from Frankfurt to SFO, I already had like how I'm gonna make the move. 3 months later, I made the move.
Well, that's really amazing.
And one of the big reasons was I'm in the world a lot, making content. Now I'm stuck here at the moment, but like Istanbul's now an hour and 45 minutes away. Helsinki is 2 hours, and coming from the west coast of the US, that's an like unbelievable reality to have the world so close.
True. When you came to Ukraine first time, what surprised you?
Surprised me. I mean, there's like a certain charm in Slavic culture, I think. In Ukraine, I don't want to compare, but I'm going to touch on it for a second. If I'm to compare Ukraine with, say, Russia, it feels much freer here. I think just in the culture, it's got more of a freer mindset. And coming from a place of rules It's cool to be in a place where, well, that guy's skateboarding pretty much anywhere. People are doing whatever. Like, it's not dangerous on the streets. It doesn't feel that way, but it's like anything sort of goes.
Yeah.
It's sort of nice.
Yeah. I would say people. Yeah.
People for sure. And I like the whole, it's not a game, but in a way it's like, there might be that stoic, hard look. Nobody's going to give you a smile, right? And you earn it. If someone smiles, it's very authentic.
Yeah,
I think it's that's one of the pluses here. It's very authentic.
And I think in Ukraine, again, if we compare big cities and villages, people, like, they smile easy in villages and they will give you a smile and they will be like, because in big cities, people are like busy. They need to work.
This is, maybe I have a different experience with that because I found Kyiv when I first came here. I found, wow, it's so relaxed and people are so open and friendly. And I did a video series in Osupenko.
I know,
near,
I watched
east
all
of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like that. I thought I would come into this village, they don't see any foreigners, and it would be very, very friendly. And it wasn't at first. The family was super cool, but they all thought I was some spy.
Oh.
They thought I'm a Amerikanski spion. And when I went to the magazine to buy some yogurt, I said, "Можно ложка, пожалуйста?" You know, can I have a spoon with my yogurt? And she's like, you know, hard look. Нет. And it took some time to warm up, like in that village, because they were just wondering what was I doing there and why would I be there?
Yeah.
So I think it depends where you're at, maybe.
Have you been to the villages in Western Ukraine?
Not enough. I need to do that. I know that's different, right?
Yeah, it's different. That's what I was talking, because I've been mostly to those villages,
right,
and not really in the east. I met a lot of friendly people in the villages in western part of Ukraine.
Yeah. And like the village I lived in, people were super cool and friendly, but in the beginning they weren't. They were like,
they were
wondering what I was doing there.
So you've been to like how many, 90 countries already? Yeah,
roughly.
Roughly. Yeah. From your perspective, like on your opinion, what's the advantages of Ukraine as a travel destination? Like, so how do you think?
I would say it's like it's a super interesting part of the world because it's on the edge of Europe. It looks a little east, looks a little west, and then there's like this sort of like pagan history here. It's a very like superstitious place, very spiritual place, and it's Europe, yes, but it's got more adventure to it, for sure. Like it just feels a little more, how do I put it? Okay, comparing with the rest of the world, it's a special place. It's a special place. It's one of those special places. I'd say there's some other countries that are like that too, in a different way. But it's one of those places where I think nobody has high expectations. And so Italy, for example, everyone has high expectations.
Because it's well promoted, maybe.
Because
like,
they know it,
and
it's an amazing place. So you're expecting something. Ukraine, most people don't know much about it, and I think if they go in with an open mind, they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Do you meet a lot of, because you live here and you travel also around Ukraine, do you meet a lot of foreigners, a lot of tourists? Well, not now, it's obviously not this year. The reason why I'm asking, because like I keep saying when I travel to promote Ukraine, I keep saying that Ukraine is still, I would say, authentic, because not many, it's not overcrowded with tourists, and you can see a lot of locals. That's interesting to know your opinion on that.
Yeah, it's not one of these European cities where the center's carved out for tourism. Which we're not helping, right? My content, your content, we promote. Right? True. Which is the irony in it, right? But I don't think, I mean, there just doesn't feel like that many people from abroad here in normal times.
You've been to Lviv, Odessa. I was watching those episodes. You also told me you've been to Kharkiv. What other parts of Ukraine have you been, and what's your favorite one? If we can say it this way.
Yeah, I've been to the south, to Verdansk, Mariupol. Kharkiv was the biggest surprise because Ukrainians don't seem to talk about it in Kyiv at all. Everyone says, go to Lviv, which I did like. Lviv is nice, it's beautiful, and everyone knows it to be this nice, charming European place, which it is. But Kharkiv, I like constructivism architecture. There were a lot of good restaurants, cool people.
Yeah.
So that was like the biggest surprise. I actually liked Mariupol a little bit. Despite these crazy factories, it's a disaster what the factories are doing, but the people there, and sort of it has this frontier feel to it. It's very far away and it's on the sea. It's all, I'm not trying to be nice here and like, say everything's great, but they all have their own special charm, all the places. So I think there's good contrast here, I would say.
And they are different, really. Like, Kharkiv, Lviv, Odessa, Mariupol, they're all different.
Very different, yeah. I think Lviv, if you're coming from Europe, it's going to be more like that, right? If you're coming from Western Europe or like maybe even like Krakow or something, right? It's going to feel more like that, where Kharkiv just feels like it's a different world. And so for me, that's interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of Soviet architecture.
A lot of, which I like.
Which you like.
Yeah, I like it, yeah. And the metro there is very cool. Every station has art to it. It's very clean. A lot of the world, the metros aren't so great. I mean, US metros, they're usually dirty, not so interesting.
Yeah, I remember New York metro is always not. I never paid attention to the beauty of metro, like you say. In Kyiv, a few stations that are different, like Golden Gates,
right,
with all the mosaic, and of course Arsenalna, because the deepest in the world. It's also the experience when you go down.
And so that's why I think the mosaics here, in those cool details, like in the Kharkiv metro, is interesting for foreigners because we don't have it.
Yeah. Have you seen murals? There is a Sokorki metro station.
In Kyiv?
In Kyiv, yes. And there are paintings.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
They're so beautiful,
that's
really.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's like a station museum, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because every painting has own story.
Right.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard you talking about Ukrainian cuisine.
I'm not a big meat eater. Okay, so that puts a lot of it out. Good vareniki, I'm totally down with. I like the fresh vegetables. I like a good soup. My wife makes a bean soup sometimes. I don't think maybe it's Ukrainian, I'm not sure. She likes to make soups.
Okay. What about
so the soups?
Potato pancakes, like
potato pancakes?
Pancakes, yeah.
I lived off potatoes for 6 weeks, so I got a little burnt out when I lived in the countryside. But yeah, potato pancakes, very nice. Yeah. So for Ukrainian food, vareniki, borscht, like a good soup, yes.
Okay, your next travels in Ukraine. What destinations?
Well, it's sort of like with this COVID thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think things are, my feeling, it's hard to know, right? But I think things are tightening up a little right now. Maybe not. I mean, it's free to travel. I was going to do a road trip south, rent a car. I have a few locations. I haven't totally figured it out. But just videos in Kyiv for the time being.
Yeah, and a lot to cover for Kyiv as well, because there are like so many places and stories and everything that you can share. Your favorite place in Kyiv? You go for a walk?
Okay.
Maybe this park, I don't know, but maybe another.
I like this area. I like Landscape Alley. You know that area?
Yeah, my daughter likes it.
And all those new stairs they built. Yaroslava Val. I love that street. That's a nice street.
Yeah.
Just this old town is nice.
And what advice can you give to travelers who are planning trips to Ukraine?
To talk to you guys. I just go in with an open mind and chill. You know, sometimes like sit on a park bench like this, sometimes take it in, maybe not have like a big agenda.
Enjoy.
It's people are cool. It's very easy to be a foreigner here.
Yeah.
Like people are open and cool.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have any of the language, learn hello, thank you, goodbye. And they're not snobby. Ukrainians don't seem to be snobby about language. So if you don't speak perfect Ukrainian or Russian, you know, it's not a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
But know a little bit, I would say.
How is your Ukrainian?
I studied Russian before I came in here.
Yeah.
So that's my foundation.
Yeah.
But I use the greetings a lot of times, like the basic words in Ukrainian.
Thank you, дякую.
Yes.
Yeah.
Будь ласка. On the streets of Kyiv, people speak both languages, right?
True.
And there doesn't seem to be a problem with that here. Like, it's usually people feel most comfortable with the language that their mom spoke to them. So you'll have maybe one person speaking Ukrainian and the other conversing in Russian. And that took me so long to figure out because I didn't have foundation in either language well, and I'm like trying to figure out what word goes to what language. Like I didn't even know that was existing until like 3 months later.
Yeah.
And I started saying, but why are you saying that? And why? And then I figured out. So there's this really interesting interchange of language here that takes some time to get used to.
Yeah.
As a tourist, it's not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna...
I do hope that your perspective and what you've shared will help people like see more like from inside of Ukraine.
Okay, yeah. It's a complicated place, and I mean that as a compliment. Meaning it's
In a good way?
There's a lot to learn here. I've learned a lot here. Like this country has taught me a lot. Like I'm very grateful for the experience I've had here. Yes, they should come. No reason not to.
They should come. It's
well, no reason not to, except we have a global pandemic. But just you know, they sell the ninja masks everywhere.
Yeah, we hope that tourism will be like returning this fall, this autumn.
Yeah,
we will see because it's so uncertain times. And things change like every day. What we follow the news and all the measures and so on. Next year should be like a good for tourism all over the world. It's not only for Ukraine, but
I think so.
Like all the tourism industry is suffering.
Yeah, people are going to be like pent up, like dying to go places.
Yeah, the people want to travel.
Yeah.
People ready to travel just because of all these conditions that governments create because they want to protect own nation, own people. But like everybody is ready to travel, including Ukrainians. They want to go abroad, they want to go around the country.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are doing cool things, promoting your country, and you got a cool business.
Yeah, we both do a lot of good things for Ukraine, and I'll be waiting for your next videos about the Ukrainian capital. Okay. Your adventures.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Julia.
And here is an advice from me. Ukraine is incredible. It is a hidden pearl of Eastern Europe, and I strongly recommend to add Ukraine into your bucket list. Subscribe to our YouTube channel not to miss out the next episodes. Have a good day. Bye.